this little spot right for the iPhone.
Hey, I know you.
Where's Charmaine?
Right here.
Still got the cooler in the front.
Oh, okay. It's cold enough.
How are you?
Good
It's
to
nice
meet
to
you.
finally meet you in person. Hopefully we can get the kids together.
I know, it'd be good.
Soon. Just the birthday party.
Yeah. It's a crazy life, like too many.
You have 3?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 more than us, so you're really
Yeah.
busy.
How's Mac?
He's good. Yeah, he turned 2 2 weeks ago and busy.
Nice.
But he's good.
Yeah, I think he we're gonna all come over and then he got sick or something, right?
Oh yeah, he's
okay.
had hands
She's
foot
right
now.
here.
So you want your kids to.
How did that
Well, right here in the center.
He's
All right.
fine.
Center.
Thank goodness. He doesn't get sick a lot, thank goodness, because he's not in daycare, so.
Okay.
We've only had a few things pop up here and there. I'll tell Sean that you said hi. When we
Yeah,
get
you're
together soon. He's off on the weekends now, so.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's Phillies Dodgers series so we can get together and like scream at each other.
Yeah, he would like that.
Have you talked to? Were you awake for your talk?
Oh, dude, I was so sleepy. It was rough. I got home at 2. And I woke up at 5:30 to go. It's good. Those kids like woke me up. They're like asking up all kinds of really cool questions. In fact, I got excuse me, I got better questions from the middle schoolers than I did from the high school. So they're talking finances. They're talking about like this one kid like in 8th grade. He's
Like how do you make living as a
have you ever photographed Roger Federer? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I think he was in the final. I don't remember. He was like, yeah, he was in the final with Wawrinka. Like he knew like everything. Man, you should be my assistant. So long. So I was there from 7:30 to 2.
I know.
But it was okay.
Now this is gonna be A roll. It's gonna be the A roll.
I know.
Yeah, walking in.
Heads up, guys. I'm in about, maybe I say about 20, 30 seconds or so. So there you go.
Say minutes.
I was confused. But just want to keep you guys.
Thank you.
Player or
No, at the it was one of the other photographers who just turned.
post game?
Yeah, and then craziness at the end, which I so you had like it had been fun out there.
No, it's
Just like everybody just went.
yeah. This season's back to normal. In fact, we should go back to that other room.
Yeah,
Because I was in there.
press conference room.
I was in there after the game.
Yeah.
And all we need is a game.
Here we go. Yo. What's up, man? You're the bee's knees, man. Here we go.
closer. Come closer. You guys ready?
I'm like hitting your elbow. I'm so close.
Good afternoon. Justice over convictions is the mission and mantra of my office. This has been the mission and mantra of my office. It will continue to be the mission and mantra of my office until I'm no longer state's attorney. This morning, I instructed my office to dismiss the criminal case against Adnan Syed following the completion of a second round of touch DNA testing of items that were never tested before. Those items include skirt, pantyhose, shoes, and jacket of Miss Hae Min Lee. Although no DNA was recovered from the skirt, the pantyhose, or jacket swabs, there was a DNA mixture of multiple contributors on both Miss Lee's shoes. The same multiple contributor for both of Miss Lee's shoes. And most compellingly, Adnan Syed, his DNA was excluded. My office received notice of these results on Friday. This morning, I personally reached out to the victim's attorney to inform Miss Lee's family of the DNA findings and my decision to dismiss the case. We attempted to wait for confirmation of notice before releasing anything publicly, but we still, at this point, have not heard back from that attorney. As we communicated to the family before, we stand ready and willing to provide whatever counseling or support services that may be needed for that family who has had to relive an unimaginable nightmare over and over again. Equally heartbreaking is the pain and the sacrifice and the trauma that has been imposed not just on that family, but Adnan and his family, who together spent 23 years in prison for a crime as a result of a wrongful conviction. The fundamentals of the criminal justice system should be based on fair and just prosecution, and the crux of the matter is that we are standing here today because that wasn't done 23 years ago. Although my administration was not responsible for neither the pain inflicted upon Hae Min Lee's family, nor was my administration responsible for the wrongful conviction of Mr. Syed, as a representative of the institution, it is my responsibility to acknowledge and to apologize to the family of Hae Min Lee and Adnan Syed. As the administrator of the criminal justice system, it's my duty to ensure that justice is not delayed, justice is never denied, but justice be done. Today, justice is done. And that means today, tomorrow, and until my administration ends, we will continue to utilize every available resource to prosecute whoever is responsible for the death of Hae Min Lee. Because this is an open and pending investigation, we will not be disclosing anything else at this time. But I want to thank my team of hardworking, committed, best and brightest attorneys in the country. But I especially want to thank Becky Feldman from the bottom of my heart, who worked so hard on this case and every day works hard to ensure equality and justice, even for those that society doesn't care to remember actually exist. Thank you for heading one of the only sentencing review units out of a state's attorney's office in the country. We're here to take any questions.
Madam State's Attorney, is he completely free or is there an appeal still hanging over his head?
I've utilized my power and discretion to dismiss the case. There's no more appeal. It's moot.
So that appeal just goes away? The case is over?
The case is over.
The case is over.
He
The
could
Court of
not be
Special
charged
Appeals.
again.
He cannot.
And I understand that he's off of house arrest? He should be.
He should be. It's a matter of the courts and how their procedures, but yes.
What about the DNA of another suspect? Where is that?
It's still an open and pending investigation.
Do you have to formally certify his innocence for him to
So-
receive benefits under the Lomax Act?
It's actually a certification process has to go into place, and the defense attorneys, we will work with them as we did in this case to ensure that that process is done.
Was the DNA that process that was used this time something that wasn't available years ago?
Yes, it's actually touch DNA, and touch DNA analyzes the skin cells left behind on evidence at a crime scene and has been available since about 2003. As you know, this case was originally prosecuted in 1999. So because of the advances in DNA, we were able to extract DNA from her shoes.
So do you have all of the DNA back now?
Again, it's still an open and pending case, but with regard to Adnan Syed, the case is finished.
Are you still looking at those alternative suspects that were mentioned when you vacated the?
I can tell you that, yes, the case is still an open and pending investigation.
Do you have any indication of how close you are to making a move, on the alternative suspects?
I can't, but I'm going to put every power and resource at my, means to ensure justice for Heyman Lee.
The Lee family says that they learned about this in the media and that they weren't contacted. So what do you say?
I don't know what to tell you. I have email that shows that we reached out to him. We can't go directly to the family as we did before. As you're aware, we reached out to the brother of Heyman Lee before. We spoke directly with him. We provided and asked him for, if he needed counseling services. We gave and provided cell phone numbers, detective information. We gave him a copy of the motion before we filed it. We even arranged for him to appear by Zoom because the case was set in by the courts at such a quickly.
But if you knew on Friday, why didn't you let the family know on Friday?
Because it had to be set in. It had to be set in. We didn't know whether or not we had the ability. You have to get the approval of the court to be able to set it in for dismissal. So as soon as that was done, that's when we gave the call to the Heyman Lee
Well, what do you say
family.
about the whole process with the Lee family? They think they've been left out of this process.
I think it's
from the beginning.
unfortunate that, you have certain attorneys that try to exploit families. And so I think that's what's happening in this case. I have evidence and proof that we reached out to the family. We've done that on every occasion, and we have to go through that attorney as opposed to speaking with that family directly.
I guess just along those lines, why Mr. Syed was set to be in court next week, why not wait to hear back from the attorney and then enter the Knoll House at that time?
Justice delayed is justice denied.
He was already out.
He's on home detention. We know that his DNA evidence is not a part of this case. It's exculpatory. Why would I wait just so that I could appease someone who doesn't appear to be, and I'm not talking about the family, but the attorney in the case doesn't appear to be appeased?
Is Mr. Syed, is he eligible for some kind of compensation for wrongful conviction and incarceration?
After he goes through the certification process and he is deemed actually innocent. And that's something that has to start and is initiated by the public defenders and the defense attorneys.
So have you assigned a homicide prosecutor to this case?
Yes, we did.
Can you tell us who that is?
Off the top. It's Michael Dunty. He's the chief of our homicide division.
Your office has characterized the Brady violation in this case as misconduct by prosecutors who handled it previously. Have you referred this to bar counsel for disciplinary action against those lawyers or anything like that?
No, I have not.
Why?
That's not my duty, my responsibility. My primary obligation is to find the perpetrators of the person who killed Heyman Lee. That's my priority. I think the questions that you guys have been asking me, you should be asking the individuals that sat on the exculpatory evidence for all these years.
You've been in the spotlight for a number of things, but would you consider this a legacy case for you because of the new union that you put in place here?
So I'm not in this work for legacy. I can just tell you that we have one of the only sentencing review units in the country where we review and modify the sentences of juvenile lifers in the elderly prison population. We've been able to modify and release over 40 individuals, none of whom have recidivated. I started the first conviction integrity unit in the entire state of Maryland where we do reinvestigations into claims of actual innocence. Mr. Syed is the 13th individual that we have actually exonerated or intend to exonerate. And so, it's not about legacy. It's about righteousness. It's about justice. It's about making America live up to its ideals of justice and equality and freedom for everybody.
Previous DNA testing was inconclusive. What specifically about this result kind of made the office go from just saying it couldn't stand by the integrity of the conviction versus moving to dismiss the charges altogether?
As I stated in my remarks, the items that we tested had never before been tested. And we used advanced DNA to determine that it was not Adnan Syed. We got DNA this time. The first round of testing, DNA testing, we didn't have enough of the sampling, and it was inconclusive because we didn't have enough of the sampling to make any sort of determination, definitive determination as to who that was or who it wasn't.
Does the mixture come back to any of the alternative suspects?
I can't tell you that at this time.
Is there any concern that the investigation into this case is going to stall out under the new administration?
I can't answer what will happen with the new administration.
We can do
What
one
can
more
you say
question.
to people who feel like Adnan Syed, who have cases that, they feel they were wrongfully imprisoned, moving forward about their cases? What can you say?
I can say what I've always said: justice is always worth the price paid for its pursuit. And, hopefully, other prosecutors in the country model what we've been able to do successfully in Baltimore City for the past 7 years.
Can I just ask, I think I'm a little confused about, maybe it's a semantic thing or maybe it's a procedural thing. Are you saying today that this office is exonerating him, that he is innocent? I notice you're not using those words, but...
What I said is that he's been wrongfully convicted, right? And until they go through the certification process and they actually, and I have the, I think I have the actual thing. No, I don't. I don't have the detail or the law, but I will give it to you. I can give it to you in the future.
But so who, when you say they, like who is that?
It has to be initiated by the defense counsel.
And it's initiated
And then
for what?
it's petitioning for his actual innocence.
Petitioning the court or petitioning the court?
Yes.
In this court, circuit court?
Yes.
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 And your office will agree to that?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.